The River Aire catchment in West Yorkshire is a landscape which has been shaped by the water that flows through it. Through the rugged Pennines into towns, cities and former industrial heartlands, the Aire drains a diverse catchment that supports communities, agriculture and industry. Historically, the Aire Valley consisted of many floodplain meadows and wetlands, which formed a naturally dynamic system that was able to store water, support wildlife and mitigate flooding. Centuries of mining, river engineering, drainage for agriculture and urban expansion have fundamentally altered its natural hydrological processes. This can result in catastrophic losses in biodiversity, reduced water quality and can worsen the threat of flooding to the inhabitants of river valleys. The Aire has been no stranger to these effects. Devastating floods in 2015 placed an emphasis on natural flood management and mitigating wetland loss on a catchment scale to prevent the loss of crucial ecosystem services the wetlands provided. In this documentary, we'll explore how wetland restoration within the River Aire catchment is being shaped by research, policy and practice. We'll evaluate key wetland restoration techniques, demonstrate what has and hasn't worked on significant sites in the catchment, and highlight the growing importance of catchment scale management in reducing wetland loss, restoring ecological function, and building resilience in a changing climate.
Across many river systems, wetland and riparian habitats have become increasingly fragmented, reducing biodiversity over time. However, research shows that reconnecting rivers to their floodplains can reverse this trend. For example, studies on the Danube in Austria demonstrated that connected floodplains support higher biodiversity. Floodplain ecosystems depend on periodic disturbance from high flows. Controlled flooding supports these natural processes, allowing water to move between rivers and wetlands, driving nutrient exchange, creating diverse habitats across the landscape. This is supported by the flood pulse concept, which highlights how seasonal inundation increases biodiversity through nutrient cycling and connectivity. In modern systems, these processes are often managed using infrastructure such as sluices, embankments, and pumps. While this enables wetlands to be used for flood management, it also introduces challenge, including altered hydrology and reliance on engineered materials. Floodplain meadows demonstrate the ecological benefits of controlled flooding. Seasonal inundation deposits nutrient-rich sediment which can maintain species-rich plant communities, supporting diverse habitats for wildlife. Controlled flooding and floodplain meadows are both feasible mitigations for wetland habitat loss in the River Aire catchment, where previous land modifications have created open spaces with an urban setting. When historic land use has precluded the chance to mitigate wetland loss, reclamation becomes the new mitigation. Reclamation works by engineering a new hydrology for the landscape by controlling the water levels, reshaping the physical geography, and allowing wetland habitats to re-establish from scratch. This directly offsets historic wetland loss even in degraded post-industrial landscapes. Moreno-Mateos et al. Showed that human-made wetlands, particularly when at large scales, can approach natural systems. Additionally, they can provide similar valuable ecosystem services to natural systems. Wetland reclamation can be limited by interacting geographic, ecological and socio-political interests. On the Aire in particular, surrounding land use such as housing and agriculture could make establishment of a wetland difficult. However, adaptive management is an effective means to ensure that the specific challenges occurring on any catchment are identified early and tackled effectively. The Room for the Rhine Branches project implemented wetland reclamation as part of a catchment-wide approach to increase the flood capacity of the river in the Netherlands. By changing land use priorities, the project managed to increase the flood capacity and biodiversity whilst providing real health benefits to local inhabitants. The Rhine, having a part urban, part rural catchment, allows a very direct comparison to the River Aire and whether catchment scale wetland reclamation will be successful.
Research into wetland restoration increasingly emphasises the importance of managing wetlands at catchment scale, where sites function as interconnected systems rather than isolated habitats. This perspective recognises how water, sediment, nutrients and species move across landscapes, shaping ecological and hydrological functioning across entire river systems. In modified catchments, such as the River Aire, this joined-up approach is essential because it focuses on the river system as a whole, allowing natural processes to be reinstated and biodiversity to be restored. This aids the long-term recovery and improved ecological status, something that smaller, piecemeal-type projects struggle to address. Agricultural and land use change reduces ecological connectivity within wetland landscapes. Both constructed and naturally forming wetlands can act as nature-based solutions by intercepting pollutants while creating blue-green corridors that support species movement across catchments. Importantly, research shows that effective connectivity does not rely solely on large wetland sites. Smaller, strategically placed wetlands and buffer zones can significantly contribute to biodiversity, water quality, and resilience when embedded within coordinated wet networks. In heavily modified catchments like the River Aire, this highlights the importance of restoring ecological functioning, even where returning to historical conditions is not possible. Eco-hydrological research demonstrates that wetland biodiversity is closely linked to water quality, flow regimes, and sediment dynamics. Research highlights the regular evaluation of water quality is critical for maintaining wetland biodiversity and ecosystem services. It has identified key management actions, including protecting existing habitats, expanding planted areas, and managing silted zones to increase submerged habitats. Nature-based solutions, research increasingly presents floodplain wetland restoration as an ecologically preferable alternative to hard engineering. On the Aire catchment, St Aidan's, Kirkstall Meadows and Fairburnings provide flood buffer zones, functioning as a nature-based solution, supporting flood attenuation and biodiversity. Vegetated wetlands also play a critical role in regulating nutrient load across catchments. We know that wetland vegetation supports microbial processes such as denitrification, removing excess nitrates from runoff. Establishing vegetation can increase denitrification rates by around 50%, while well-designed buffer zones may remove up to 90% of nitrogen from inflowing water. However, excessive nutrient removal can limit plant productivity, highlighting the need for balanced design and long-term monitoring, rather than focusing solely on pollutant removal. Diffuse pollution remains a major constraint on wetland ecosystem services. Evidence shows how diffuse pollution reduces water quality and limits ecological functioning. Within the River Aire catchment, heavy metal concentrations increase downstream of urban areas, driven by sewage discharge, industrial activity, and surface runoff. St Aidan's provides an example of a constructed surface flow wetland which can deliver ecosystem services when appropriate vegetation, substrates, and water residence times are established. There is evidence to suggest naturally forming wetlands may achieve more consistent pollution reduction, with recommendations encouraging natural wetland expansion where possible. Catchment scale wetland management must also account for future climate change. Evidence suggests that reduced flows during drought can increase sediment deposition and pollution, with ecological impacts persisting long after drought conditions ends. The Environment Agency projects increased winter flooding in the Aire catchment, with events such as Storm Eva in 2015 demonstrating the urgency of mitigation. St Aidan's contributes to flood mitigation primarily through passive flood storage, reinforcing evidence that floodplain reconnection and wetland storage are critical at catchment scale. These research-based recommendations directly influence how restoration practitioners design, manage, and evaluate wetlands across the River Aire catchment.
In 1988, the River Aire burst its banks at St Aidan's in southeast Leeds, flooding the neighbouring open-cast coal mine and forcing mining operations to cease for nearly a decade. This event highlighted the inherent flood risk within this section of the Aire Valley. Today, that same vulnerability has been deliberately repurposed. The former mine now functions as a large flood storage area connected to the River Aire so that parts of the site are deliberately allowed to flood during periods of high river flow. Water levels are controlled through a series of sluices and pipes, enabling excess water to be stored on site rather than passed directly downstream. This provides an important ecosystem service by slowing the movement of floodwater through the catchment and reducing flooding risk to communities further down the Aire. However, this approach also has clear limitations. Large-scale flood storage schemes require extensive areas of land, which are rarely available in heavily developed catchments. While similar approaches have been implemented elsewhere in the lower Aire Valley, such as Fairburn Ings, opportunities for replication are limited. Also at St Aidan's, the likelihood of increased rainfall because of climate change is exacerbated by an artificially high water table, a legacy of historic mining that continues to influence how water moves through the site. As a result, St Aidan's cannot function effectively in isolation and must be understood as part of a wider catchment scale system. In response to repeated flooding events within the Aire catchment, the Leeds Flood Alleviation Scheme was developed to manage flood risk across the city. Completed in the mid-2020s, the scheme combines engineered defences with nature-based solutions to reduce flooding pressure downstream. One project within this scheme is in northwest Leeds, where a 2.4 hectare floodplain meadow has been recreated near Kirkstall Abbey alongside new sluice structures. Historically, this area formed part of a medieval water meadow system managed by the Abbey, providing power for mills and regulating river flows. While the modern scheme is driven by flood risk management rather than food production, it represents a partial restoration of floodplain function. It has been noted that biodiversity benefits depend not just on flooding, but how water is managed after flood events. At both St Aidan's and Fairburn Ings, active water level control has created a mosaic of habitats, including reed beds, wet grassland and open water. These habitats support complex food webs and have contributed to population increases in a range of wetland species. The large scale and continuity of habitat creation at St Aidan's has allowed specialist species to establish breeding populations, demonstrating the ecological value of large-scale, long-term restoration. Fairburn Ings shows comparable success through sustained wetland bird assemblages, reinforcing the importance of extensive reed beds, which are relatively scarce nationally, but essential for sustaining many wetland specialists. Despite these successes, evidence for pollution control benefits is limited. While reed beds and brash bunds on both sites may help filter pollutants, there is little publicly available water quality monitoring data, making it difficult to assess their effectiveness. This highlights an ongoing gap between restoration design and the evidence needed to fully evaluate outcomes. Overall, these projects appear to have received a relatively high level of public support, which might initially seem surprising. Leeds planning policy, including the Aire Valley Aire Action Plan, places clear emphasis on housing delivery as a priority for the city. At the same time, research suggests that communities often express greater confidence in engineered flood defences compared to nature-based solutions, as shown by a study in Greater Manchester. However, this study also found that confidence in nature-based approaches increased following flood events. Taken together with the fact that wetland restoration schemes in the Aire Valley have largely been delivered on disused or previously mined land, this might help explain why these projects have been perceived more positively than might otherwise be expected.
This documentary has explored how mitigating wetland loss across the River Aire catchment can address flooding, declining water quality and biodiversity loss at the same time. We've seen a range of different practical restoration techniques and found that the most effective measures are those which restore natural processes on a catchment scale rather than solely relying on isolated hard engineering solutions. The evidence demonstrates that floodplain creation, controlled flooding and improved habitat function delivers key benefits. These methods restore and buffer vital areas of wetland, which in turn slows the flow of water, improves ecological function and reduces downstream flood risk. This is important for the River Aire, where climate change is expected to increase the frequency of extreme rainfall and drought events. Looking ahead, there are clear priorities for future research and action in the Aire catchment. More long-term monitoring is needed, particularly for water quality and pollution mitigation, to better evaluate restoration outcomes over time. Adding a network of smaller, strategically placed wetland sites across the catchment will also strengthen connectivity and enhance overall wetland impact in the catchment. Looking at the Aire catchment, and more widely, it's clear that informed wetland restoration is not simply about recreating lost habitats. It's about applying research to practice, managing the landscapes as a connected system, and building resilience for both ecosystems and communities in the face of a changing climate.